How are you doing, big brother? Thank you so much for joining us on Africa at Play.
Good afternoon to you, and thank you again for the opportunity to be part of this contribution to the great show of the African continent.
Thank you so much for joining us. Let's kick off with the big occasion, Africa's biggest football jamboree. The curtain will be closing between two giants, the Senegalese, the Teranga Lions from West Africa, up against the Atlas Lions of Morocco, who are playing on home ground. And of course, one will be talking about home ground advantage, but does Senegal want it the most? Perhaps if they do, they could just upset all the North African football-loving community. Your thoughts on this one?
Well, the first thing I want to be very honest about is that I want to believe Morocco have got literally every single advantage they can get in this particular one. First of all, of course, with the 12th player in their field, that is their fans, who of course will be playing at home. They've got, of course, the advantage of as well the recent history of their great accolades in literally every tournament, every international championship. Very recently, of course, they won the CHAN in Nairobi, Kenya, and you may not forget that they also did very well at the Olympics. They managed to do extremely well at the Under-20 World Cup. They produced some sumptuous football as well, Under-20 Africa Cup of Nations. They went on to do extremely well as well at the Under-17. And they also got the Arabic Cup recently as well that they've bagged, and at the World Cup, at the event that everybody craves for. They managed to finish fourth in the world. That is a clear indication that this is a team that has got some pedigree, some good history, accolades that they've got to ride on, and this pedigree is not as easy as it comes for Senegal. And what we can argue is that they've got to do something extraordinary to outgrow these Lions of Atlas, because the Lions of Teranga have got maybe the confidence to believe that there is nothing to lose in this particular match. Everybody knows they are playing away from home against all the odds, so they've got to do everything they can, know that they can afford to lose this match, and everybody understand, and probably that is what will give them the energy and the belief and the desire to try and fight to the end. But the other thing is that every time the host nation has been pushed to let me say the halftime without scoring, quite often things don't go very well, and so the Senegalese can try and fight, probably get the match to halftime without being beaten a goal or conceding a goal. In that context, probably they will have some belief, and they will, of course, tame the desire and the belief of the host nation, and probably that will dampen the desires of the home fans and reduce the noise and give them some comfort and maybe stability in the game towards the final 45 minutes, and probably go and nick it in a very unprecedented style, so to say, about Senegal.
That is Francis Mutegi, our correspondent based in East Africa in Nairobi, Kenya. So Mutegi, let's also talk about the world of tennis. Kenyan star Angela Okutoyi has made a historical leap to reach the highest ever ranking in her playing career. And this one is more exciting, especially because she was elevated 85 times. So that is a big jump indeed. Please tell us more.
Well, this lady has some real revelation to give to the African continent in this particular sport. Tennis is not one of the most popular sports in the African continent, purely on the basis of lack of proper facilities, training grounds, and of course there are challenges also of technical desires and the cost that comes with this particular sport. For one to be successful in this sport, you've got to invest quite some money, and in that context, to remain in this match, you've got to have some real sponsorship. And so she has managed, under very difficult circumstances, very strenuous deals that come with the demands of this sport, but she still managed to remain very relevant in the sport, going all the way to reach position 476 in the world. She's timing now, looking for a way of getting into the top 100 before the next Olympic, that is in Los Angeles 2028. And if she can manage to cut that number to the top 100 of the world before 2028, then she's got a good chance of playing at the at the Olympic Games in Los Angeles, USA, at that particular sport, that is tennis. but she needs a lot of support. She's literally worn herself out trying to sponsor her way to literally every tournament that she needs to go to gain these points and try move as high as she can. This one was a very advantageous ground for her because she was playing at home. She was able to win 4 particular titles, 2 singles and 2 doubles, and in that context she has managed to leap, as he said, 85 places and to reach for position 476 is a major achievement, and now she hopes this can be the trend to continue. Actually, the Ministry of Sports here in Kenya has indicated their intention to support her in the next major international qualifying tournament that she needs for her to gain these points, and that is in May this year, 2026. And so the minister in charge of sports, Salim Vuria, has made it clear that the government now needs to come in and give her all the support, because she needs to take care of her rackets, she needs to take care of traveling, she needs to take care of boarding wherever she goes, she needs accommodation, flights, ticket, and so on. And that is exactly what she has been having challenges with, and now she needs that kind of support, and it's a real shot in the arm for her. And we can wait and see also if maybe corporate will come also to give her the sponsorship and support, because she has always done extremely well, never let people down when she goes into the court. And so we wait and see. Currently she's a student in the United States of America and a sponsorship because of her tennis playing, and so she expects to finish education later, maybe around March, and then concentrate purely about how she can qualify for Los Angeles 2028, and that is looking a very likely achievement she can get, Neto.
Mutegi, another high-profile Kenyan athlete, the 2021 New York City Marathon champion Albert Korir, has been provisionally suspended from the sport, according to January the 12th, 2026 announcement by the Athletics Integrity Unit, AIU. It looks like the doping concerns will never leave the table in as far as African athletes are concerned. Your thoughts on this one?
It is one of those very disappointing and, so to say, very unfortunate scenarios that we've got to deal with the Kenyan athletics in particular. And what really frustrates the fanatical athletics fans across the country is the fact that the high-profile runners are the ones who keep breaking these rules, the ones who keep letting the country down, and quite often they almost say produce some very embarrassing scenarios, because you cannot win big titles in that context and eventually taint everything that you've done with such uncalled for, so to say, acts of engaging in use of banned substances. And this is very, very costly indeed. And as you can attest, Kenyan athletes make almost 120 numbers in terms of the list of athletes who have been banned in the last 4 or 5 years. And the most frustrating part is the fact that whenever they get into this scenario, they end up losing the entire opportunity to participate. Of course, we've got some of them even being banned for 7 years, others 6 years, 3 years, 4 years, 2 years, and others, those who are provisionally suspended, for example, Korea now, are literally not able to participate in international events for some months as they wait to see what action will be taken by the AIU. And at the same time, the anti-doping agency WADA of the world. Kenya, of course, has an anti-doping agency that is supposed to handle these scenarios. They are doing extremely very well in terms of the efforts to try and reduce these numbers, but the numbers keep coming. And for a long time, the managers of these athletes were accused of being the ones who make them greedy as they try to win by hook and crook. They make sure that these people look for something that will enhance their performance, endurance, and for that matter, sustainability in long distance. But of course, there is raw talent in the real sense of athletes in Kenya being able to do things without necessarily falling into that trap. And of course, you can tell some real good examples. Faith Kipyegon, the likes of Beatrice Chebet, who is now on a maternity leave, and then of course the very big man who we all know has done extremely very well, and these athletes, whenever they produce this kind of performance, they tend to, of course, to leave a lot of doubts globally in terms of are they doing it cleanly or not. And of course, when you think of such big performers as Faith Kipyegon, the likes of Beatrice Chebet, and of course, when you look at the scenario of how well they do internationally, then you tend to forget the very few who taint the image of the team. But it is a serious problem. 120 is not a small number. Over 12 of them now, I think, are in the provisional suspension, including Korea now being the latest case. But that does not stop Kenya churning from its talent, let me say, port of athletes, because there are many, they keep doing extremely well, and any unfortunate case ends up individualistically being a loser, but the team remains. And that is exactly what happened even in the recent World Cross Country Championships that took place in Florida, United States last weekend. Kenya still managed to do some real good work, and we hope these small cases of doping, or bigger as they may be, they are not going to fail the entire country's athletics field. Neto.
16:15 Central African Time. Francis Mutegi is our correspondent based in East Africa, in Nairobi, Kenya. Mutegi, one of Africa's best when it comes to sprinting, Ferdinand Manyala has come out to clarify the reason why he was not very keen about a promotional run with American content creator Aisha Speed on his recent tour of Kenya. Please tell us more.
Well, Aisha Speed, of course, is such a big name in terms of giving publicity to a country, of course, enhancing tourism attraction, giving the country some sort of publicity and global attention. But when it comes to all the things that every country in Africa where he's been to trying to promote their own country, every particular field of interest was considered, and one of them here in Kenya was to try and probably make him do some run with the big man who is Africa's fastest in terms of timing, 9.77 seconds, as you mentioned there, Ferdinand Manyala. But he was not keen about it because he was concerned that should this exhibition run end up with an injury for him, it will lock him out from his own performances internationally, because he's a sponsored man by many companies, including Toyota. And these companies expect him to perform through the season and produce the results while giving them the promotion and advertisement opportunities that they can get. And so he was concerned that should this exhibition run end up with an injury for him, he will be the loser, because as he was saying it, Aisha Speed, or quite literally, do his content even on crutches. He will do his content even seated, even sleeping. And for that reason, a runner cannot do all these things that they do, which is running on any other position but proper and injury-free legs. And so he was saying he doesn't want to engage in a risky situation that will force him out of his season that is just about to start, whereas Aisha Speed has an opportunity to getting injured in that particular exhibition run and continue with his work. That was literally his argument, which was understandable anyway, and I want to believe he was also thinking about what was he going to gain at this particular scenario. Of course, the country was going to gain, but he individually was not going to gain much. And so I think that is also the other reason that he was considerate about. He didn't want to take the risk, literally.
Sport is undoubtedly a business. Ferdinand Manyala does not want to run for free. Fagimalu Zobona, show me the money, and of course I will run and try and break my own record. That's Ferdinand Manyala for you. Thank you so much, Mutegi, for fueling us up with the latest in East African sport. Have a good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, and thank you again for the opportunity to contribute to the show.